Well, Mr. Jeans. How are we today?
I am fantastic.
Why the long wait? It wasn't a trick question, dude.
Well, I had to take my inner temperature to see exactly how I was feeling right in this moment, just because I really wanted to express how I was feeling. So fantastic, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm doing good. Just another crazy day in the Matrix, you know?
That it is, my friend.
Groundhog Day. And I want to thank everyone for coming on over to our Studio B, as I think we'll start calling this, Jimmy. Yes,
Yeah, man.
we're over here in Studio B. I see Jason, Brian, John, Sam, Carol. Who else we got in here? We got Greg. And Greg, just for you. And thank you very, very much, sir. Now, I need to see if I can actually do this. We don't have Brian. Brian has refused to come over onto Studio B. He said to me, Jimmy, he says, Studio B, Kev, that's below me. He seems to think that, like, the big channel's his, dude. So in his place, we have this.
Look at that. It works.
Look at that. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. It does work.
Sweet.
And isn't that, like, the deepest irony ever? Not that I'm going to make a thing about it, because don't tempt fate, Kev. But yes, here we are on the backup channel, ready to go. And I think we found some really strange, weird type woo to really get into today. And I kind of accidentally fell into it. But before we get there, Jimmy, how are you doing, my good man? Let's start again. I don't want this 30-second pause where it's all like some dramatic build-up. And how are you, sir?
The thing was, I had everything set so there would be no noise, and it took me a second to get everything unhooked just to make sure there wouldn't be any outgoing noise that wasn't accounted for. So I'm sorry it took so long. Are you serious? No, I'm doing fantastic, man. It's a sunny day. I tell you what, though, I am sick of having to be stuck, around the surrounded compound here. The compound is growing smaller by the day, Kev. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to flying the coop ASAP. So, did you get my traveling papers for me from Putin?
No. I got lost there. I was talking with Anne. I don't think I missed much, though. Traveling papers from Putin, Jimmy? What? Anyway, where are we going? Now, you were telling me, so the people can know out there, you are on another show later on today, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tell people how they can check that out.
Yeah, well, it's Lee Veltman. He's one of the listeners here at the Kev Baker Show. He's got a great show with John Brisson. They do a show called The John and Lee Show. And it's over at We've Read the Documents is the name of the channel. And tonight we're going to be doing a special broadcast about EST and Landmark Communications. And I'm going to be on there because I've gone through the Landmark Communications program, both the basic and advanced course, and so we're going to be laying that out, and it should be pretty good, man, because I don't think a lot of people are really familiar with it. So it's actually kind of a brainwashing mind control thing, but people sign up for it as self-help, and they have no idea what they're getting themselves into once they get into the program. So it should be pretty interesting. Dude, I really appreciate you asking me, man, because it's going to be a good one. Thanks.
No, I do. I really like that channel. And talking of channels, something, this might sound weird to people, but I kind of like it when there's only maybe this many people here. It makes it a bit more kind of I don't know, almost one-on-one feel about it, a bit more warm, a bit more cozy. And we've got memberships on this channel, but I haven't turned them on, and I'll explain why. And that is because while we're on that hiatus on the big channel, and we've got all of our members on hold over there, but that's on hold for 90 days. So should we not get that back within the 90 days after I go through, if I even manage to get through the process of reapplying in time, should we not get them back and I lose the 150 of you that were signed up over there, then I would open up memberships here. Point being, I don't want to be offering memberships here. People jump on it to try and support the show, and then maybe we end up flicking back on over onto the main show, and people have got 2 subscriptions to the same channel, and I never want it to be seen as if like a extra ways of trying to get money out of you. That's
Man,
never.
that's pretty.
Yeah.
That is really stand up of you, dude. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. That says it all about Kev Baker right there.
I just think that's fair enough. You know, everyone's on hold over there, so I'm not going to ask people to start jumping onto something new. And when, who knows, maybe 2 months from now, we'll be back on the big channel. Everyone will get hit with a demand for a PayPal or whatever it is you pay through there. And, oh, hang on, I'm paying this Glaswegian clown twice. What's that all about? So, folks, we're not going to turn the memberships on here for now. If we don't get the other channel back, we'll bring the fun over here. I'm just so happy that we still do have a platform where we can have Brian or his female assistant reading out stuff, and I don't know. It's always good to get to work on building up the backup too. So that's what we're gonna get to right now. And dude, I have found some cool woo today, right, Jimmy? I mean,
Oh man, yeah, because I never heard anything about any of this, and I was when you had clued me into the thing you saw earlier, I was blown away, man. I'm super excited to hear even more and get into it, man. Start talking about it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, I must admit, and I hadn't heard of this before.
Me neither.
Now you do your rounds, Jimmy. I do my rounds. We listen to probably what would be considered an unhealthy amount of information over the course of every week, right? And we haven't heard of something. So let's take a look at this thing that they call the God machine, or the Messiah machine. God device as well sometimes. And like I say, I had never ever heard of this.
Me
Have
neither.
you ever heard of the mechanical Messiah, Jimmy?
No.
No? Same here.
I have never heard of the mechanical Messiah. I have heard about Reese's Jesus over there in the chat room though, but not the mechanical.
Is Reese's in today?
No, but he's in that other chat
We
room.
need to get him over here. We need to get the Reese's Jesus over here. So I'm going to actually drop the link for this show right now over at Discord again, just in case
Oh, nice.
some of the Discorders. Yeah.
So this is exciting. So ladies and gentlemen, so, you know, here in 2020, we have all these ideas about ghost boxes. We have ideas about picking up resonant magnetic imprints left over by past events, or you know, all of these type of weird supernatural type events that happen. And there's been a lot of people, you know, in the past, like for example, like when you think about the Rife equipment, where they use light and all this to and frequencies to heal this type of thing. So people, you know, throughout time have really been trying to find a way to connect. And as soon as Kev gets that Discord thing in here, I think we're going to...
That's all right. I've dropped the link in Discord, so we might find more people coming over. Great to see you in there as well, Jules. Rick Anderson, our Scottish friend. Great to see you, brother. And don't forget our good friend, listener, Hilarious Nacy, Kev from Minnesota. He'll be the special guest on today's Kev Baker show. Don't miss that. Jimmy will be there as well.
I'll be there.
Let's take a look at this thing then, because this is super interesting. I'd never seen this before. John Murray Spears. Now, I've not really I've got links open, not really dug into this, Jimmy. We're going to kind of deep dive it, maybe surface skim it before we go on to the main show, right? But a name like that, John Murray Spears. That's got a very Scottish ring to it, I must admit. Very. I'm just saying. So let's see what it says here. This comes from July 2019, last year. And take a look at what you're looking at this machine here. Just look at that. Now, we'll get the story on this in just a moment, but this is the machine that we're talking about. The mechanical Messiah. Now, oh, hang on. Wrong one.
Yeah, I like it.
You like
Yeah,
it
exactly.
so far, Jimmy? You liking it so far? I just need to find something. What's your initial impressions of
That
looking
sounded
at
like
this, Jimmy?
it sounded like. Well, that just sounded like the mechanical Messiah was cranking up, getting ready to.
The what, Jimmy? The what? The mechanical what?
Messiah.
Are you serious?
Oh my God.
Are you serious, guys? We got breaking news.
I'm serious.
I had to do it.
Man, the mechanical Messiah. I just like the way
you've got
it
like
sounds,
you've got
man.
weights here. You've got cogs. I tell you what is going on here. I haven't actually checked this out. I honestly
cool,
found the
man.
thing and I googled it and I opened links and we're going to explore them here today. So it says in 1854, an experiment far stranger than anything in Mary Shelley's novel took place when, let me just pull this over here, sorry. When a New England clergyman married science and spiritualism in an attempt to build nothing less than a god. Now, discovered in a dusty attic in Colorado, could this be John Murray Spears' fabled God machine or new motive power? Question mark. So those familiar with the Lore podcast may have heard of this bizarre machine. I certainly haven't. But in 1853, work began on a mysterious machine, an experiment that has since become synonymous with the early spiritualist movement. Now, if successful, it was believed that the machine in question had the power to, quote, revolutionize the world and raise mankind to an exalted level of spiritual development. I wonder if it was meant to take us onto the positive timeline. Just saying. It was as though that once finished, the machine itself would act as a physical body for God, a metal and copper suit to contain the divine spark. They called it the new motive power, heaven's last and best gift to man. And there's another kind of drawing of it there. Remember, we're going back to the 1800s. New motive power. Absolutely fascinating. So it said what eventually happened to this machine has become the source of legend and speculation. Jimmy, monitor the chat. Has anyone in the chat heard anything about this before? Is this something?
No.
No?
No, and they're saying it looks like an orgone. Rick Anderson says it looks like an orgone generator.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's on that other link that you had sent at real late before the show. There's some super high definition color pictures of the object. I don't know if we got there yet, but because I don't know what they're seeing, I can't see the screen on the web. So, but it looks like I just have a pop out chat, so I don't actually see the broadcast going out. So, yeah, I mean, it's wild. There we go. Now I saw it. Oh, so yeah. No, I mean, it's an this is super interesting. So I can't wait to continue. So let's continue, please.
Yeah, it's I'm just wondering if people have heard of this.
No one's heard of it. They're saying Feminem says she's smart and sassy and she hasn't heard of it. So
Yeah, this is really weird. Maybe it's one of these positive timeline insertions. Have we found one? Let me see. So it says what eventually happened to this machine has become the source of legend and speculation. Now, according to Spear, the machine was dismantled and transported hundreds of miles to the small town of Randolph. There, it was housed in a temporary structure until a mob, in a scene reminiscent of the peasants storming Frankenstein's castle, destroyed it. However, over the years, those who believe in the creation of the God Machine have surmised that Spear and his group fabricated the destruction of the machine with the hopes of drawing negative attention away, sacrificing their credibility for the safety of the infant creation. Now, they believe that it still exists somewhere, slowly gaining strength after 156 years in seclusion, and that one day, it will unveil itself to humanity in its true form. The second coming of Christ, the metal Messiah. Dude, so
The
we come down here
metal-
and it says here, there's a wee carving on it. A little
The
kind of,
metal Messiah.
yeah, the motive power John Murray Spear. So it says even more of a mystery if how the machine is how the machine made the journey from Randolph to Colorado, where it laid undiscovered for over a century. The age and likeness to the early etchings point to the possibility that this could well be the genuine God Machine. It was found during the routine house clearance of an elderly lady who sadly died with no next of kin or immediate family. Miss Ackerman of Greeley, Colorado, known locally as Old Lady Crackerman, due to her eccentricity with a habitual hoarder, and lived in a rambling mansion on the edge of town, which became home to her vast antique collection. In her will, she instructed that in the event of her death, the house be cleared and all of the contents auctioned, with the proceeds being donated to the local pet rescue charities. The God Machine was discovered during the final stages of clearance, which had taken over 3 weeks to catalogue. In a locked attic in the furthest corner of the mansion, a drab, stained, dust sheet covered a mysterious object that would later baffle the local antique experts charged with valuing Miss Ackerman's extensive collection. And here's another picture of it again.
Whoa.
That's I tell you, it's pretty
It's cool, man.
yeah, imagine that back in the day. People would have looked at that and gone, what on earth are you inventing here? So it
Man,
says,
it looks like some kind of something out of the time machine or something. You know what I mean?
pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. So the only clue to the origin of steampunk contraption was a
I
brass
was gonna
plate.
say that.
Doesn't it? Engraved with new motive power, John Murray Spear. Now, a quick Google search revealed that they had uncovered something that was rumoured to have been destroyed over 100 years ago. You see, again, was it destroyed? Or was that a different timeline? And now we're on one where this thing still exists. You see
It's
what I'm
like the-
saying, Jimmy?
It's like the Ark of the Covenant, man.
Dude, maybe there's
I mean-
another one at the bottom of Oak Island.
I don't know, but people are freaking out in the chat room about it because
Tell you
no
what,
one's
dude,
ever heard of it.
everyone thinks that like that Oak Island, it was like to like keep treasure safe and things like that. What if we've thought about it all wrong? What if it was something that heinous and that evil? They like had to put it somewhere where nobody could ever uncover it again. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. It's wild, man.
Hey, that's wild, I'm telling you. But let's get back into this.
There's no reason for us to think that people didn't have the wherewithal to put some weird thing together to make something happen back in the day.
Well, we've got
Wow,
another super chat coming in here from Jason this time.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. PPP, folks. Cameras off. You know the score. Yes, I'm back. Come
Oh,
on. Come on. Come on. You see this female assistant? You see what happens when this channel went all woke? Stuff doesn't get done anymore. All right. Okay.
Robot Jesus is not the Messiah. Robot Jesus is a very naughty robot.
I don't know. There's something really nice about her calling somebody a naughty robot.
Plenty of
Can I
those
be your naughty robot?
naughty robots and the mechanical messiah. Only
Dang,
on
dude. That sounds like some kind of film that you probably wouldn't ever see on YouTube. So it says here, the mass of brass cogs, dials, gas cylinders, and strange clockwork systems look like a steampunk wet dream. Yet this was built long before the questionable fashion of top hats, goggles, and clockwork-powered laser guns was born. Yes, indeed, Kevin, I will take the last of your chips. Oh, my word. Dang, dude. It's all happening here, I tell you. Yeah, you see, you live it live on KBS. So, oh, he's even got... Dude, look, he's got him in the drawer.
there he is.
What's going on with this thing, man? I'm telling you. This is like some kind of freaky-deaky thing that John D would have been working on back in the day, Jimmy.
I'm telling you, man.
Isn't it?
Well, I'm on.
I should send this to Anthony Patch. He needs to get looking at this thing. So it says, so the big question is, does it work? Is
That
the
is-
real new motive power the God machine, the mechanical messiah? As far as we know, the machine has been loaned from the Ackerman estate to a local spiritualism expert where it has been tested for its authenticity. Watch this space for more news. Look at that thing. That thing. Dude, so tell me, Jimmy, this local spiritualist has got this thing, right? Needs to test it for every time you put your camera off. We need to figure this out. Skype's pain in the bum. It keeps on making your camera big.
Oh, it does. I'm sorry. I'll keep it to a minimum then.
Yeah, just push your camera up or something. We know what you're doing, but we have to be cute about it. So we've
I
got
need a
almost 50 people here on the backup channel, dude. That's amazing.
Sweet.
But so
What's up, everybody?
just put yourself in the shoes of the local spiritualist, Jimmy. You've been loaned this item. We hear it's reported powers, right? Like it's like gonna house God or something, right? For me, this is like I said, this is almost the kind of thing that you talk about with Parsons as well. You know, with the kind of Babylon workings, trying to bring in or create the moon child and stuff like that, something to house an entity, Jimmy.
Maybe it's the CERN concept, only super small scale that you could just DIY at your house.
Do you think that's the world's first particle accelerator?
Maybe
That's where it
home-
all went wrong. There's time travelers going back to put a hammer through that thing.
You know what I mean? Though maybe he found the God particle with the God machine a long time ago.
Do you think
This
that
guy.
could be? I'm just looking at it there. I just caught a new fresh glimpse of it, and part of me wonders: do you think this was the world's first working model of a flux capacitor?
It might be. And Feminem said in the chat, she said, "Hey, maybe it's a primitive quantum computer of some kind." You know what I mean? See, that's what I mean. You could put a picture like that up on to do a show. You could put a picture of that up there, and then have people call in and ask and tell you what they think it is. Because I swear, you could sit here and just, if you didn't have any background story on this thing and you just saw it, imagine what you could just imagine what it could be.
If I just saw that, I would have said Tesla or Edison. That looks to me like some kind of early like contraption for getting electricity or something going. You know, blue thing on the top. Listen, hold the press, right? The God machine. What's this skull doing on the top of it, dude?
Yeah, that's interesting. What is that skull doing there?
I mean, I've seen many's a picture,
That skull.
many's an artist's impression of God. Never seen one that looked like that. Just off the bat. Yeah. Dang, dude. Imagine somebody like Jason. He goes out and does paranormal investigations, Jimmy. Imagine they went to their next one. Everyone's sitting there like, will we do a Ouija board? Will we do some table tipping? And Jason goes, hang on a minute. cracks out the God machine. People be like, what is going on?
Man, I tell you, that thing looks like something out of a.
Deserve that.
I know that thing looks like something out of a Jules Verne novel, man. I'm telling you, like.
That's the
You know
sort
what I
of thing that you turn on and you're never seen again, dude. You get like Narnia.
You'd be all.
If I was to show that to Chris, like the quantum businessman, he'd be like, Kev, that's what I've been looking for. Well, yeah, see? Tell you, dude. Look, I wonder, is that a picture of the guy?
I don't know.
Do you think it's like some kind of quantumly entangled thing? You've got to have like some trinket of the person involved and some voodoo stuff goes on with the spoon and some magical kind of, I hope that's not bath salts in there. Looks like he's got cigars here as well. I tell
Yeah,
you,
it looks like he's
hope it's
just
cigars.
Who knows? He might have been like Nostradamus. He might have just sat in there, got his cigar out, started sitting there
I
smoking
really
his
wish
cigar.
I'd
and just
never
says,
ever started calling him Nostradamus. It's gonna stick now forever, isn't it? Good old Nostril.
I mean, he's just
Oh
sitting
no,
there
man!
with
I've
his
just
cigar.
absolutely butchered your camera frame, Jimmy. There you go. You look good again, man.
He's like this. He's got his cigar and his one thing. He's going, okay, Jesus.
Well, let's take a look at this, right?
Tell me something, Jesus.
Who was the guy? The guy was John Murray Spear. Now, he was around from 1804 to 1887, an American spiritualist clergyman who is most notable for his attempts to construct an electrically powered messiah, which he referred to as the new motive power. So he was born over in Boston in 1804, and at a young age he was a member of the Universalist Church of America. I've never even heard of that. The pastor of the church was Hosea Ballou, under whom John Murray and his brother Charles studied theology. Never heard of this guy before in my life, Jimmy. Have you?
Negatory. I have not heard of him. And there's a bunch of these dudes that we've never heard of that were sitting there with these little inventions that we never heard of. Man, this is really cool. Man, hats off. 5-star. You 5-star. You 5-star. You stay here a long time.
What? You saw the Jungle Book? Oh, Anne heard me saying something about Balloon. She thought we were talking about the Jungle Book. His name's Baloo, but... Oh, man. No Jungle Book today, Anne. No Jungle Book today. Not yet. But listen, hang on now. I've got a message from Spooky Andy in the background. Hang on, I'll open it up here. Usually it's on point. It's usually right on topic.
Nice.
Oh, bro, that's not the only one. Oh, hang on now. Now there's more. Oh, there could be multiple messiahs or mechanical ones now. He says, I've seen this before. I'll do some digging and see if I can find info. I've heard of this lady before. I lived out in Greeley wow, he's like got a local connection to that place. And of course, Andy is in Colorado.
Wild.
So, oh, Jimmy, what if it's like the crystal skulls, dude? What if there's like 13 of them and you line them all up in the pyramid or something? Oh, man. That's when stuff gets kind of crazy, Jimmy.
I know, this thing is crazy.
Oh, I really wish we'd queued up the Love Boat music for now. That's got to be our theme tune, dude.
So you're gonna bring this to the table later on today on the show?
No,
also
I've no idea where Kevin wants to take the show later on, the direction of it. There's another story here about the God Machine. Come take a look at this. It says here in October 1853 on a hilltop in Lynn, Massachusetts, a group assembled to create the new Messiah. Oh, that makes it sound really interesting, doesn't it? Sounds like it was some kind of conspiracy, Jimmy. They met in secret up on the top of a mountain, you know. They had not come to pray to praise to God. They were actually going to build him out of metal and wood under the supervision of spirits. Now, wait a minute. Are we now uncovering that the information to build this thing came from the spirit world? Because it says when the body was complete, they believed it would be infused with life to revolutionize the world and raise mankind to that exalted level of spiritual development. Goes on to talk about universalism. Remember we said he was in that? Teaches that souls will be saved and stresses the solidarity of mankind and, quote, sees the whole creation in one vast, restless movement, sweeping towards the grand finality of universal holiness and universal love. Now, just suspend all your own belief systems and listen to that for one moment, right? Close your eyes and listen to that. Sees the whole creation in one vast, restless movement. You know, that for me, I do see the human race as that. All of us individual little nodes, but at the same time, quantumly connected to the earth, to each other. It goes on to say that sweeping towards the grand finality of universal holiness and universal love, and that's almost that realm that Philip K. Dick said that he got a fleeting glimpse of. One that was absolutely love. No hate, everything, kumbaya. He called it, like, he compared it to God's kingdom on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like the same kind of thing that this thing's talking about, right? It said here, when his father died, the family was left poor, and he may have been apprenticed to a cobbler and worked in a cotton mill. But these ideas influenced the course of his life and spearheaded reformist views on slavery, women's rights and temperance, on which he was frequently outspoken, upsetting his congregation. And by the late 1840s, he had lost the Barnstable Church and went on to be driven from churches in New Bedford and Weymouth. In 1844, after delivering a anti-slavery speech in Portland, Maine, a mob beat him senseless, invaliding him for months. When he recovered, he operated a portion of the Underground Railroad in Boston, helping runaway slaves get to Canada, and acquired a name as a prisoner's friend for work in improving penitentiaries and abolishing the death penalty. Guy sounds like an absolute saint. So while
he sounds like the Messiah.
While Spear crusaded,
he's Messiah-like.
While Spear crusaded in Boston, strange things were happening in rural New York, which would completely change his approach to reform. The Fox family, a father, mother, and two young daughters, moved into a farmhouse in Hydesville, New York in December 1847, and immediately they began hearing inexplicable sounds, long before the Foxes found themselves in the middle of full-blown poltergeist phenomenon. So months of noise, especially knocking sounds, exhausted the family. Bang, have we uncovered a rich vein of woo here, ladies and gentlemen. So on the night of the 31st of March, 1848, 12-year-old Kate invited the ghost to rap the same number of times she snapped her fingers. It did. And this display of intelligent control led to more detailed communication. The poltergeist claimed to be the spirit of a murdered peddler. And the two basic tenets of spiritualism were established. The soul survives death, and the dead... Jimmy, I'm getting feedback again from you. It's gone. The odd word. I don't know what it is, dude. I know you keep throwing your hands up in the air, but... Anyway, it says here, the poltergeist claimed... We got that bit of thing, don't we? Yeah. On the same day, Kate began communicating with the ghost. Andrew Jackson Davis, a visionary writer and healer, known as the Seer of Poughkeepsie, or Poughkeepsie, what a name, had a revelation that a living demonstration is born. The age of spiritualism began. So the Fox sisters gave public demonstrations of their mediumship, and within 5 years, spiritualism was everywhere. Countless amateurs experimented with spirit communication in home circles, or attended seances by professional mediums, and hostesses were advised to introduce the fascinating subject of spiritualism at dinner parties when conversation chances to flag over the walnuts and wine. So reformers were especially attracted to the way it challenged almost all accepted views, its lack of hierarchy, and its promise of unlimited possibilities. And in 1851, Spear left the church and he became a spiritualist. With the encouragement of his daughter, Sophronia, he developed his powers as a trance medium and accepted guidance from the spirits of Emanuel Swedenborg, Oliver Dennett, who had nursed Spear after the mob attack, and Benjamin Franklin. Now, spirits led him on trips to faraway towns where he was directed to cure the sick by laying on hands or making inspired prescriptions. That summer, he received 12 messages from the late John Murray and published them as messages from the superior state. He followed this with a series of public demonstrations in which he entered a trance, while spirits spoke through him on a wide variety of topics, including health and politics, and delivered a 12-part lecture on geology, a subject about which Spear claimed to be almost wholly ignorant. Now, that paragraph there, rather startling to me. You know why? Because the other night on the show, we were talking to the guys from Wales, Paranormal Now. They were mediums, they were speaking to spirit, and then independently, they both started channeling something called the Council of 12. And you find this guy's going about putting out a book with 12 messages, and he delivered a 12-part lecture. You seen a pattern? The speeches, however, were not well received, as it seemed to be the medium rather than the spirits speaking. Now, Spear trusted his spirit advisors without reservation, and among their projects was an experiment in which Spear subjected himself to the most scathing ridicule from his contemporaries by seeking to promote the influence and control of spirits through the aid of copper and zinc batteries so arranged about the person as to form an armour, which he expected extraordinary results. So he's basically building like a force field around people, Jimmy.
I know, man. I'm telling you, I'm in awe, and the whole time you've been talking about this, I've been wondering if Houdini ever went to see this guy, because Houdini was obsessed with talking to his mother on the other side, and he would run around all over the world trying to talk to his mother. I wonder if Houdini, because it was around the same time. It's interesting, man. I mean, this is wild, bro. Wild.
Excuse me, having a little chip. Jimmy, can you turn your headphones down a little bit? I think that might be what it is. I think. That's it. Going out. There we go. So then, yeah, but this is wild. I agree with you. I can't believe I've never seen this before. It says, and that doesn't mean I'm sitting here thinking, well, this couldn't have existed. I just mean,
well, no,
weird.
And he kind of sounds like an Edgar Casey style dude too.
Big time, especially
you know?
with the health kind of channeling thing going on. He was called the sleeping prophet, right? Edgar Casey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And documented tens of thousands of cases, I believe. The real deal, pretty genuine, right? So despite all his efforts, Spear's reputation remains small, while the Fox sisters triumphed as famous mediums, and Andrew Jackson Davis as a well-known visionary and prophet. Now, this promised to change after a spirit-inspired journey to Rochester, New York, in 1853 revealed to Spear his special mission. Rochester. Where did that come up on the show this week? Oh, that's right. One of my regular guests goes to the Rochester Institute of Technology. There's some weird synchronicities going on here. I'm blown, I tell you. Spear... Oh, it went really bad there. Right, Spear began producing automatic writing which proclaimed him to be the earthly representative for the, you ready? The band of electricizers.
Whoa.
He's channeling something called the band of electricizers. What have we stumbled into here, Jimmy?
This is wild. Now, is there a book or is there some PDFs?
We're going back to, don't you worry, but that was just, I had to pause there. It says this was a fraternity of philanthropic spirits directed by Benjamin Franklin and dedicated to elevating the human race through advanced technology. Other groups that made up the, quote, the Association of Beneficence. Keep on getting crappy feedback, man. What is that all about?
It is. I don't know where it's coming from because I don't hear it at all.
Yeah.
I hear nothing. My headphones are so low right now I can barely even hear you.
Yeah, it's horrid, man. I don't know what it is. Can you mute up? There we go. Right, there we see. There it is. It's away now. See, we'll need to. I think it might be an internal Skype setting, Jimmy. I don't know. It says here other groups that made up the Association of How do you say that? Beneficence? Yeah. Were the healthfulizers, the educationalizers, the agriculturalizers, the elementizers, and the governmentizers, each of which would choose their own spokesman to receive plans for promoting. Now, man culture and integral reform with a view to the ultimate establishment of a divine social state on earth. So the electricizers, it's hard even to say that, began speaking through Spear, transmitting revealments that ranged from a warning against curling the hair on the back of the head, bad for your memory, to plans for electrical ships, thinking machines, and vast circular cities. The first, most important task, however, would be the construction of the new Messiah, heaven's last best gift to man. A universal benefit that would infuse, quote, new life and vitality into all things animate and inanimate. Spear, or the electricizers, chose High Rock as the place to build it. And High Rock is a hill rising 170 feet above Lynn, a town north of Boston. And Lynn is now poor and unemployment is high, but it was once well known for shoe manufacturing and has a history that is pure Lovecraft. It's full of witchcraft, sea serpents, spontaneous human combustion, and rioting Quakers. Where has this story been waiting? It's been waiting till now. Now is the time, obviously. So it says spiritualism received an enthusiastic reception in Lynn, and some of its most devoted followers owned a cottage and observation tower on the site that Spear needed. High Rock Cottage, shown in the 19th century stereoscopic photographs, there it is there, belonged to the Hutchinsons, who were both spiritualists and reformers. Now, the cottage was a favourite destination for visitors, especially after 1852, when Andrew Jackson Davis witnessed a meeting of the Spiritualist Congress from the tower and was introduced to the disembodied representatives of 24 nations. Spear had known the Hutchinsons when he was minister in Boston and allowed them to rehearse in his church when they began singing professionally. Now, Spear was given the use of a woodshed, and work on the physical saviour began in October 1853. Assisting Spear and the electricizers were a group called Rev. S.C. Hewitt, editor of the spiritualist newspaper New Era, and Alonzo E. Newton, editor of the New England Spiritualist, and a woman called the Mary of the New Dispensation. The identity of the new Mary has never been clear. Vivifying the Messiah was a four-step process that began with the brother Spear entering a superior state and transmitting plans from the electricizers. Building it required 9 months of construction, gestation, and in that time he received 200 revealments, providing detailed instructions on the materials to be used, how the different parts should be shaped, and the pieces put together. The group was not given an overall plan, but they built it bit by bit, adding new parts. To the invention, in much the same way that one decorates a Christmas tree. Well, I don't know how much else we're going to be able to actually get through here, but Jimmy, that story there is maybe one of the best kind of random finds I've come across in a very, very, very long time. Indeed. What do you make of it, man?
It's absolutely out of this world, man. I mean, seriously, the implications of it and just the whole philosophy behind it. I mean, you see this play over, like, for example, the movie Contact, where they got the idea, they got the blueprints for the machine downloaded. You have all these people that claim to have connections with these Palladians that give them these messages about, so that's not beyond the pale at all to think that somebody could help him fashion the electrolyzers.
They were the ones that were giving them the messages, dude.
That's what I mean. This is wild, man.
I tell you.
I think this may deserve a full-on investigation at this point. I think beyond what you have here.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
this is...
Yeah. I did have a story. It just doesn't fit now. It was about a cryptid that isn't even a cryptid. It was a guy had made up a story about a tree octopus. And I was going to make it all funny, but this has been too good. And I want to leave this as a kind of standalone mechanical messiah show. It's just weird, dude. And again, kind of strange. I just find it strange I've not come across this before, you know? Really strange.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
Well, we are going to have to wrap it up here, folks, because we need to change gears now. I need to go and put some clothes on. You see, now you're thinking I'm sitting naked. See, I got you thinking. But no, I have to get ready. Jimmy has to get ready. In other words, we have to just hang up on the Skype here and call Kev. But it makes it sound a whole lot more professional and kind of cool and stuff going on in the background, you know. And no, it's just basically a Skype call. And we will be on tfrlive.com. We'll be on the TFR Live YouTube channel. We'll be on iHeart, TuneIn Radio, TalkStream Live, couple of FM stations, goodness knows where else, and it'll be me, Jimmy, and Kev from Minnesota. Hilarious Nacy. You looking forward to it, Jimbo?
I am looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll be able to open up those phones maybe in the second hour to hear from some of the listeners too, you know, because these dreams that you guys were talking about the other day, I think there's lots of people having these dreams, man.
Yeah, I think you might be right there, Jimmy. I think you might be right. There's even been a lot more studies been getting done on dreams and things like that. So yeah. So folks, you don't have long to wait. It's only 13 minutes, and yours truly and Jimbo will be back. We'll have Kev with us. We'll be over on the TFR Live YouTube channel. Be in there. I'll open up that chat. I'll also be over at TFR Live. I'll open up that chat. tfrlive.com/chat. That's how you get in there. And it's totally free, so you can have 2 chat rooms for the price of none. So until then, it's only what? Still 13 minutes, not long. Can you wait that long? Yes, you can. Wrong one. Dang, dude. That could have been a lot worse. That could have been the Mary Loves. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. And just remember, you lot are absolutely awesome.